clips because obviously I can't show the entire episode. I don't know if it's like, should I get dolls and just move them around to match our voices? But like I really want to, because Jericho is a really weird series that like I really like, and yet I can't really explain why I like it because there's so much to criticize about it. Like, and I also want to show that you can like talk about things you like in a critical manner, because I really like Jericho, but I also like there's so many things I can criticize about it, and I don't get defensive about it at all. Like if people are like Hawkins, like, well, I get defensive if people said you can't you can't like the series because it means you're a bad person or something, I guess, which I never say about anything. Like I don't say, look, if you like Batman vs Superman, you're a bad person. I will talk about themes, and it's like Hawkins is really horrible. Like the portrayal of Hawkins is kind of fucked up. Like he's the magical black person sometimes. He's also an abusive husband, even though it's portrayed as being for his family's own good, which makes it even more screwed up. Like he literally, in the flashback, when you find out, he kidnapped his family at gunpoint, and like he could have just told them, look, nukes are gonna go off, and so you need to come with me, which I guess maybe they wouldn't believe him, but he kidnaps them, duct takes them, and then he knocks down a cop who tries to rescue them. And so it's like, it's this terrifying moment from the perspective of his family, and then you understand why later they just listen to him because they're scared of him. And it's like, it's really triggery. I totally get if people can't handle it. And like a lot of the portrayal of Emily is horrible. There's a lot of like really weird sexist stuff, because it's like, oh, in the survivalist future, like in post-apocalyptic American survivalist future, women don't seem to do anything except like be caretakers. And all men can use guns, even if it doesn't make sense that they can use guns. And like Emily's the daughter of a survivalist, and she doesn't know how to use a gun. So it's like there's a lot of fucked up stuff. There's a lot of stuff that right from the get-go the series has got to disappoint you. And yet, like, I really like Skeet Ulrich. I never watched Scream. Well, I didn't watch Scream until after I watched Jericho, so I didn't see him as a villain. I always thought like, and Skeet Ulrich, there's something about him that's really similar to Michael Biehn, both in appearance and the way they can play sort of dangerous guys that you still trust. Like Kyle Reese is such a role. I've always said that Kyle Reese is such a tricky role, because you have to play someone who the audience can't immediately hate, even though he's like essentially kidnapped Sarah Connor, and essentially he doesn't tell her anything for a little while, but he has to be someone that you can kind of believe is a desperate but good man. And I think like Michael Biehn does it. I love Kyle Reese, he's perfect for that, but if you do it wrong, you come off like a creepy person. And like so like Skeet Ulrich as Jake really has something about that. I really love Jake. Like my perfect boyfriend, as I said, would kind of be a mix between Kyle Reese and Jake. And there's a lot of really cute Jake and Heather moments, and I really kind of hate that. Like they kind of reverse it, right? Heather's she's the nice girl, geek girl who like, no, she's the only girl who can do a lot of things. She knows how to use weapons. She knows how to she knows a lot about electrical engineering. She was unpopular in school, and it's like Jake is the hot guy that she's in love with. That's way out of her league, she thinks. But then it's like, unlike in the shows where the nice guy gets the girl, Heather doesn't get Jake. She disappears for 6 episodes so Jake and Emily can get together, and it's so disappointing. And I don't know if in a longer season 2 they would have done more of it, because they were setting up a love triangle, and then the show got canceled and then got renewed for 7 episodes. So season 2 is this really rushed plot-based season with very little of the soap opera stuff I really love about the series. So I don't know, but I really want to talk about Jericho because it's so fascinating to me, and I want to talk about, like, normally if we talk about stuff, usually I'm the person who likes it less than the other person, and I want to talk about something where I'm the person who likes it more, but still, like, because I like it more, I analyze it way more. Like, I see stuff that Zinxie, who doesn't even like Jericho, doesn't doesn't see because she's not, because I think if you really are into something, you're gonna notice a lot of details a lot more than someone who's not, which is why I think you can, like, people who love a thing can totally criticize a thing, and they should. But anyway, so I'm really excited to do that. I also want to do a Baseball 101 series, but I need to set up my Patreon first, because otherwise I can't afford to do things. And I hope I get enough of the Patreon so that I can do some of this. I don't know, I worry I kind of missed my shot with Escher Girls, because Escher Girls is, like, Tumblr is dying and Escher Girls is nowhere as popular as it was in the past. But, like, but also, like, I was dealing with school and mental illness stuff and physical illness stuff. So, I guess I can't really kick myself. I can always kick myself. So the time limits in this game are really messed up. Sometimes it feels like you don't have enough time to do anything, and sometimes it feels like you have too much time. Do I get anything if I knock all the balls into the hole? Whoa. If they had cast Schwarzenegger as Reese, Bean is subtly good. You had to prioritize. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. It helps to have reassurance. I mean, like, I often feel like I could have done so much more about lots of things. And I missed my chance with Escher Girls stuff. And, like, I'm always afraid to set up a Patreon. People are encouraging me a lot more now. I also want to work on some of my art. The thing is that if I do, like, I have a DeviantArt that I'm using a little more now, but if I do art, I think I'll probably do it under a secret DeviantArt until at least I get comfortable enough, because, you know, since people who have been angry at Escher Girls have been searching for my art to yell at me for a while, and, like, you just what the heck was that? That you just know that they would be like, what, you draw so poorly, you know, you have no right to criticize other people, which is sort of silly. Like, people review iPhones and no one's like, well, could you build an iPhone? People review video games. Well, I guess people do go like, could you make a better video game? But not as much as people do it with, like, art. Because of the kind of understanding that not everyone could make a video game or whatever, but this feeling, well, everyone can draw, and if you suck at drawing, you have no right to criticize it. Like, look, you can criticize baseball players, you don't have to be good at baseball. But yeah, this summer I want to do a lot more things. Unfortunately, it gets derailed by, like, my inability to sleep, my nightmares. Like, half of May is gone, and well, okay, I fixed the car, that's a thing. Jump. Yay! Complete. Oh, I finished. That's it. Okay. Do people want me to continue playing Catlateral Damage, or should I just call it a night? Okay, well, I'll play a little more for you, Confusion Grows. If you're here, I like talking to you, so we'll do a little more. Pick a cat for me. Nippy, Lynn, Will, Mitten, Nero, Zor, Wednesday, Kratos, Miku, Rufus, Chaos, Magoo, Griswold, Senior Missy, Obi. Ooh, I unlocked Obi. And Catzilla. I'll play this because I love Catlateral Damage. It's a really good game. Like, this is another thing that if you like ask me on the top games of all time, Catlateral Damage might be higher than it deserves to be because I'm really enjoying it right now. Will I enjoy it in 5 years? I don't know. But then I might. Like, again, Mirror's Edge is one of those games where if you had asked me to rank my top 100 games of all time at the time I was playing Mirror's Edge, it would be pretty low. Like, I don't even know if it'd be on the list. I'd be like, oh, that's a neat AA game. There's a lot of problems with it. I don't think this is one of the greatest games of all time. And now, like, I would argue it's one of my favorite games of all time, and I would argue it's an underrated great game. Maybe not underrated. I don't know. Okay, let's play Obi. Hey, Obi. Breath of the Wild right now would probably be like number 1 on everyone's list. Nier Automata would be up there. Like, pretty much all the games that came out recently. And it's like, I think that's why recency bias is such a thing. And also, like, when you evaluate older games, you should probably play them again. See whether or not they really are as good as you remember them. Because, like, I think the original Legend of Zelda doesn't hold up as much as everyone thinks it does. Like, everyone who's talking about how Breath of the Wild is Zelda going back to its roots, and it's like the first Zelda. Well, the first Zelda wasn't that free open world, actually. It was gated. It just, like, because Nintendo, like, later on games would get a lot better at the gating thing rather than just allowing you to die because it was too hard, but you were never meant to be there anyway, so it gave you this illusion that you could game the system, but you really couldn't. And like, as a kid especially, like, there's a lot of things, like, Nintendo games seemed like infinite possibilities when you were a kid, and really they weren't, but they seemed like it. So, like, I think if you're evaluating your greatest games of all time, you kind of got to take some of these things into consideration. Moon Gravity. Oh, I love Moon Gravity. But yeah, I want to do some of my own projects. I want to do some writing. I have a story I'm working on that I'm really excited about. It started off as a Star Wars alternate universe, and I think it's probably gonna take the serial numbers. Like, it's pretty much has nothing to do with Star Wars. It's just using its characters in an alternate universe where I changed the timeline and said, what if this happened? So yeah, I will do some writing and some drawing and work on the big podcast stuff. That's 4 a.m. Knock all the paintings down. Ooh, the Frightful Lab. I think Mario 64 really holds up. I love Mario 64. I still think it holds up. Majora's Mask is apparently really good. I never played Majora's Mask. And I think some people were turned off by being Kid Link. But the idea of having this, like, it sounds very Dead Rising-ish, with having to solve everyone's problems and being able to live the same day over and over again. I think Ocarina of Time is pretty good. I think Ocarina of Time was overrated in terms of like when everyone was like, it's the greatest Zelda ever, and it's like, well, there were a lot of things I think Ocarina of Time didn't do so well, but yeah, if they're being underrated now, I totally get it. Like, I think like the system I think was really underrated is the GameCube, right? Because it's the weird black sheep system, and like, for example, I think Mario Sunshine is really, really good. Like, Wind Waker has gotten a renaissance where people have reconsidered it, but Mario Sunshine I think deserves a reconsideration too. It's because it was so different than other Mario games, and because you got like the little Super Soaker thing, but I think Mario Sunshine was really good. But it's like, I like having these discussions, and I would like to have more of them. I love to see people's lists, I love to see people argue about these things. I do have Wind Waker. I have yeah, Ocarina of Time is not the greatest game ever. Ocarina of Time is a very good game, and yeah, it shouldn't be punished because people call it the greatest game ever, but I think because it was the first 3D Zelda, people think of it much more highly than it is, and they haven't played it since, and they kind of forgotten its flaws. I do have the HD Wind Waker. I currently have HD Twilight Princess from the library. I really want to play Twilight Princess because I never played Twilight Princess. Because it came out at the end of the GameCube, and then, like, I didn't want to get it for GameCube when they were like, oh, the Wii version is the better version, which it turns out maybe not. But, but I never got a Wii, so I never ended up playing Twilight Princess at all. And then by the time, like, I got a Wii U and could play Twilight Princess, actually I bought a Wii really late after the Wii U came out, and then I sold the Wii and got a Wii U. But the thing is that like by that time, people had reevaluated Twilight Princess and talked about how, you know, it's overrated. People liked it because it was dark, but it did a lot of things badly. So I haven't played it yet. I kind of want to. Whenever I try to get into, like, I borrowed Twilight Princess for the Wii a long time ago, and I couldn't get past the tutorial stage. I tried Skyward Sword also, and I couldn't get past the tutorial stage. Like, people talk about how much better Breath of the Wild is with no tutorial stage. It still did. Like, the tutorial plateau is still too tutorial-ish for me. I still feel too locked in, but at least it's not so bad. Like, I have no patience for tutorial scenes and a lot of cutscenes. Like, even Breath of the Wild feels like it has too many cutscenes for me. Whenever they go to a cutscene, I'm just like, oh god, I don't care, hurry up. And I know that I'm unusually impatient for a lot of things, like... It was actually suggested that I have attention deficit disorder. Like various therapists and whatever always suggest I have different things, so actually I don't know what I have. But I know that my school counselor suggested that I had attention deficit disorder because I was constantly fidgeting and jumping from topic to topic or whatever. Who knows? But anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna play Twilight Princess HD. I played Wind Waker HD, and like that's when I started to really realize that it's like, oh, Wind Waker, when I first played it, I was very charmed by it, but I never finished the game because I got stuck in the dungeon and I forgot where it was. And then it's like I played Wind Waker again, and it's like, oh, this is really fun, and again I just kind of gave up on it halfway through because it started to feel really tedious. And I think like a lot of people have been talking about this now that Wind Waker HD has come out and they're kind of re-evaluating it. It's like it went from like, oh, it's not so good because it's too childlike, to like, oh, actually this is really good, and people didn't like it because it was childlike, to like, it's a good game but it's flawed, and that it is really tedious in parts. When she had to leave her husband, and like I had a copy of Final Fantasy IX that I never played, and so I was just like, I'll just send it to you. It's a Canadian version, so there's a novelty to it. It says, it's got a little Canadian flag, and the Canadian version has the French option. That's what makes it Canadian. But yeah, so, but like I was always more into the techno fantasy. Like I wasn't into Final Fantasy VII. I might play it one day. And the reason I'm not into Final Fantasy VII is that, like, my friends that I knew who were into Final Fantasy VII were like so gross about Tifa, and they would have like pictures and posters of Tifa just to leer at her, so I was just like, oh, that's kind of gross. I was really into Final Fantasy VIII because it was like, oh, it's so romantic marketing, and I'm like, oh, it's the most romantic thing ever, and I never actually played the game. Now that I play it, I'm like, oh, Squall and Renoa have no chemistry. That's really hilarious. I'm a sucker for romantic advertising. Where's my upgrade? There it is. My SWAT increased. Hey. Swan and Renara are about as hot as Bella and Era. I have to say, if you've read the Twilight manga, which is drawn just without knowing anything about the story. I actually think that story is romantic. Ooh, Harley Quinn the cat. But yeah, Squall and Renault have no thing. Squall and Cypher have all the chemistry. Oh, where's everything? This is a laser pointer. Nope. The cat speed farce. So they did a better job than the films. Well, the films never tried to make it romantic. The films knew that it was abusive and were trying to make it abusive. That was the interesting thing about the films, and sort of the creepy thing that if any kids found the films romantic, then they were not interpreting them correctly. I don't know how I'm supposed to get up there. Like, the cabs are usually hard for me because they don't seem to have enough stuff to knock over. Hey! Ah, I got the supermarket. Okay. Math Cat's destruction is really fun. Supergirl? Tell me more about what you're comparing Supergirl to with Twilight. Is it Monel? Oh, I have to get these items. Shopping list. Oh, I need to get packages of meat, gum, and some other things. Water bottles. See, the problem is that I often can't find the things that... Oh, I guess those are clams. I know where to get the meat. Oh, they're clams. Okay. You know, clams aren't just sitting on shelves like that. Well, neither is meat. Where's the water bottles? I'm running out of time. Well, I still have some, but I need to figure out where everything is faster. Okay, I found another deli section. Alright, I got other meats. Now I have to get other clams. 100 clams. Okay, gums. Is that gum? What is that I'm supposed to knock over? It doesn't seem to be gum. I thought it was gum. No. I haven't seen anything go down yet. Oh, there it is. That's what I need to knock down. Whatever those are. Water bottles. I haven't found any water. Are those water bottles? No, they're not. That's the wrong kind of bottles. Oh, no. I thought those were what I was looking for. I need another clam shelf. I got 3 minutes. Ah, there's another clam shelf. This one's that. Where's the water bottles? I need to get started on these water bottles. And then, oh, the jugs. There's some jugs. Oh, that thing didn't fall down. Oh, there's more jugs. Okay. And I think I saw the water bottles on top of that. Oh, the water bottles are these tiny little things. I was looking for something bigger. I still need more clams. Oh, there's more jugs. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to chat right now. I'm trying to do this before time runs out. Because this is a much more difficult job. Because you gotta knock over specific things. I need to find another clam shelf. Ow. Okay, I got disoriented. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this in time. Yeah, I'm lacking another clam shelf. Because I feel like I've taken all the clams out. No, I'm not gonna do it. Crap. I'm still lacking 15 clams. Darn it. Having the kind of relationship in Supergirl when it doesn't seem to be a commentary on deconstruction seems so off from what the show's. It is weird that the show started as this one thing and apparently has become this abusive relationship. Also, it's almost disappointing to me that they went with the Kara's sister is gay thing, because it means there's almost no chance that Kara herself will be gay. I mean, there probably was no chance they're ever gonna have a gay protagonist anyways, but it would be cool. Especially since people seem to be really into the Lena, Luther, and Supergirl thing. And the actress Erlina played Morgana in Merlin, which I really liked. One day I'm gonna do that supermarket level and actually succeed at it. Look, I get that upgrade. Sorry, I just want to turn on the volume thing. I have a lot of books in the laundry room. And DVDs? Why are there DVDs in the laundry room? Catnip. What's catnip? Oh wow. Catnip just makes me go super. Oh, I see. I've got super spot now. Rapid swat. Ah.